Coming to you from a studio somewhere out there. It's Enough Already Radio with Fingers Malloy and Tracy L. Connors.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And once again, we are back for another Enough Already podcast. My name's Fingers. She's Tracy. It's been a while. Hello, Tracy.
Good. Hi, Fingers.
See, we were already stepping on each other.
I know. We're out of practice.
Yeah, it's been a while. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm well. Things are trucking right along.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing this podcast with Tony Katz that people should listen to. Yeah, it's called Eat, Drink, Smoke. Find it on iTunes. And at TonyKatz.com. That's going very well. We drink bourbon and we smoke cigars at a bar.
Wow.
It's not a bad gig, right?
No, it sounds like your idea of utopia.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you could throw a gas station hot dog in there, never leave the house. Well, I would leave the house.
You can bring one in, right?
Yeah, I could smuggle one in, but they
you
frown.
You would never come back to the house.
Right, there you go. That's what I'm looking for. No, but they frown on that there. This is a kind of a fancy joint.
Ew.
I have to iron my shirt before I go there.
No, you don't.
I don't, but I probably should. I've got to look, you know?
Yeah, they just rolled out of bed.
Yes.
Wearing the clothes from last night look. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a thing.
It works for me. So there's that. But how are you, Tracy? It's been a long time.
I know. As I said, I'm doing well.
Yeah. Where were you on election night?
I believe I was on my couch not watching it.
You didn't watch any of the returns coming in? Or were you following along on the computer?
I was following on Twitter.
Oh.
Find that much better. Well, I was only going to turn it on if it was breaking really hard against the Democrats. Mm-hmm. Because I just wanted to see the meltdowns. But they didn't come.
Well, there were all these doomsday scenarios that they were laying out there for Republicans. And pardon me for bringing this up, ladies and gentlemen, but it's been a while since Tracy and I have talked. It's been, October. Did we do a Halloween show?
I don't know.
Can't remember what happened last week, let alone that far back. But no, we haven't done a show in a while, so we haven't done a post-election wrap-up. We won't spend a lot of time on it, but you're right. Political Twitter is fun to watch on nights like that, especially when it doesn't go according to plan for Democrats.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, they won the House. But at one point, we were talking House, Senate. Trump would be impeached the next day. It's going to be crazy. And not only was Trump going to be impeached, they were just going to put Hillary Clinton in the White House. That's how it was going to work.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
That's the line of secession. You know that.
Everybody knows that. So, but, here in Indiana, where I live, mm-hmm. Joe Donnelly was the Democratic senator who, in polls leading up to the election, he had a slim lead, which was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. He should have been far behind, and he ended up losing to Mike Braun, the Republican candidate here in Indiana. But, Joe Donnelly's one of these Midwestern Republicans, or Midwestern Democrats, who say, gee, I'm for your Midwestern values. I'm not one of these people who will bow to Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. I have a backbone. And then they go to Washington and they do exactly what Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi want them to do.
Mm-hmm.
So he lost. So people in Indiana were happy.
Yes, congratulations to you.
Thanks. Now, the Pennsylvania GOP.
Oh, they're a waste. They're a total waste. And I thought about emailing them because even though I've changed my registration, mm-hmm. the Democrats sent me a ton of literature.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I got 5 or 6 things from my reelected Senator Bob Casey. I got nothing from any Republicans, but I still get emails from the Republican chair of the state party. Mm-hmm. And I think it was the week before the election, I got this email from him. And it was all about him and what he's been up to, as if I care. And I'm not bitching like, oh, I want, junk mail. But dude, there's absolutely no effort made whatsoever.
Right.
So Casey soared right back into his seat. Our crappy Democrat governor got reelected. The congressman I had representing my district, he's one of those never Trumpers who decided to get out after his second term, which is pretty unheard of. And so a woman, Democrat, won his seat.
Was there some redistricting going on in Pennsylvania? I thought I read something about that.
It was a huge fight that went all the way to the Supreme Court. The state Supreme Court was involved. I mean, it was just a nightmare. I just don't know why we don't have robots do that. I'm serious. The districts are absolutely insane. Like, if you gave it to a small child as puzzle pieces, it would probably take them a week to put it together.
Yeah. Well, so it wasn't a good night for the Pennsylvania GOP.
No, but they deserve it. They suck.
I mean, let's face it. Trump won Pennsylvania in 2016. It had nothing to do with the Pennsylvania GOP machine.
No, they hated him. They did. They did nothing to help him.
But I'm assuming that the blame game, just by you telling me what was going on with that email, that it was every man and woman for themselves at that point.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, this is before the midterm. It wasn't after it.
Oh, okay.
I quit reading his emails, although I did think about responding to him with some snark. But like, hey, I left your party because it's so pathetic.
Yeah, think about that. I mean, look, you and I think a lot alike when it comes to politics. But you at least want to get involved with whatever libertarian party exists where you live, which isn't much of one.
No.
But the Republican Party is so pitiful in the GOP or in Pennsylvania that you want to turn to the Libertarian Party, which is pathetic in Pennsylvania, or at least in your area of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's nowhere to turn. So I'll just continue to bitch and get involved in local stuff as much as I can.
There's a place to turn the wine bottle.
Oh, yes.
So there's that.
I'm looking at my cabinet of wine right now.
Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
It was quite pleasant.
Yeah?
Yeah, what about you?
It was okay.
Yeah.
Trying to make everybody happy when you have to travel 300 miles back to where you're from and try to visit all the family in 3 days. It doesn't always work out the way you would like it to, but and I'm too old to be sleeping on a couch.
Yeah.
Or an air mattress, but I do what I can just to try to make everyone happy. But the problem is when you try to make everyone happy, you end up making nobody happy. So, but again, there was alcohol.
There you go.
Turning back to the wine bottle. So that was okay. But we had an interesting debate, and it came up leading up to Thanksgiving. And I want to see if you think this is weird. And we'll get to, we have a lot to talk about. But the average price for a Thanksgiving dinner, according to the American Farmer Federation, something or other,
Sure.
Feeding a family of 10, $45. Do you think that's crazy?
Do I think that's expensive?
Do you think that that's ridiculously inexpensive and people spend, way more than that on average?
Well, let's think about it. The most expensive thing involved is probably the turkey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what a turkey weighs because I don't eat. Costs because I don't eat it. So,
well,
what does a turkey cost to feed 10 people?
Well, I could tell you that at local supermarkets by my house, we're running ads, turkeys for 37 cents a pound.
Okay.
I mean, you could get a 20-pound turkey for what it costs for a Big Mac meal at McDonald's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And once you get the bird, I mean, think of all the other stuff. I mean, mashed potatoes. A bag of potatoes is what, $3?
Yeah. The stovetop stuffing boxes are like $1.50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it sounds high, to be honest. $45.
Thank you.
Yeah, it doesn't count the booze.
No, there's where you're talking the expense.
Yes.
Unless you're drinking Old Milwaukee. But No, I mean the turkey is the big get there, and if you're buying a bird at 37 cents a pound,
Yeah.
that's $8. You know,
For a big one.
For a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
So
what was the debate?
Oh, I was told by several friends, all women, that that's ridiculous, that you're going to spend way more on a Thanksgiving dinner and this is an average of 10 people.
Okay.
But like you said, the bird, and then at that point, all the sides are cheap.
Yeah.
Even if you're going to make your own stuffing, what's in stuffing? Bread?
Celery.
Celery?
Some onion, maybe.
Wow.
Some chicken broth.
It's not something that you have to finance over 30 years.
No. And then maybe you get some cranberry bread.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we do the green bean casserole dealy. That's not expensive.
Yeah. $20 on
potatoes.
sides at the most.
Right.
Can of cranberry sauce.
And even if you're buying all the spices from scratch, as if you don't have those at home. I mean, that's what could do it, I guess.
Okay.
Those aren't super cheap, but still, most people, it's like salt, pepper, brown sugar.
Yeah, this is one of the best meals of the year as far as hitting your budget.
Right.
It costs you more to buy pizza for 10.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I don't know, but Thanksgiving was fine, and now Christmas is right around the corner. Are you a big Christmas person?
No.
No?
Not particularly.
The family get into Christmas?
A little bit. I mean, it's fun now with the young one around, but other than that, it's like, who cares? Everybody builds an Amazon wish list, and we just all shop for each other off of the wish list, so everybody pretty much knows what they're getting, and they're happy to be getting it.
Yeah, it just amazes me that people still do the Black Friday thing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you saw some of the yearly footage of the ridiculousness.
The
People,
mayhem.
Yeah, it's always Walmart.
Yeah.
Walmart. Yeah, I'm surprised Walmart hasn't been sued for big bucks. I mean, just you see, they wrap TVs in cellophane, and then they say on your mark, get set, go. And people wanting to save $75 on a TV will slit someone's throat. Mm-hmm. To get a crappy TV for $75 off, and it's like a WWE pay-per-view watching it. Like somebody's gonna hit someone in the back with a steel chair. Mm-hmm. Have you ever done Black Friday?
Somewhere. No.
Never?
I have no desire to do that. No. Have you?
Oh, one time.
Okay.
10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I pushed over an old man to save $10 on a DVD player, and I never felt so alive.
Good for you.
And you do it once, and then you realize just how ridiculous the whole thing is.
You needed to experience it to realize that?
No, you don't, but
okay.
It helps.
Oh, sure.
I mean, you can make it fun, and I'm sure some people try to. You have a designated driver, and then you get boozed up while you're doing it, which just makes you ready for a fight.
Yes, it's not a good scene.
No, but now you've got stores that are open. It used to be you just had Black Friday, but now you've got stores that will open at like 4:00 on Thanksgiving Day. Mm-hmm. And you see all the whining from the left about this.
Uh-huh.
And it cracks me up. I mean, I've had some shitty jobs. Bartending, used to be a hotel front desk clerk. I worked at a nursery that right around the middle of October would flip, and it would be all Halloween stuff, artificial Christmas trees. So I've worked Black Friday. And I survived.
No.
Yeah. I've worked every major holiday, and somehow I lived.
You should write a book.
I should, really. I tell people I'm no hero. But people don't want to listen.
Modest.
Yeah.
Well, I would think it would be an entertaining day to work. Maybe a little bit irritating, but also you get to be front row for the fistfights.
Yeah, it is interesting. The thing is that if you're not used to getting up really early, I mean, most retail outlets don't open at 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. So you're used to rolling in at 8 for a 9 o'clock open. All of a sudden you have to be there at 4:30. That blows. But I've always been confused as to why, for some reason, and this just goes back to, I guess, that the left really hates capitalism. That it really sucks. Oh, all this consumerism. You know, people out there too interested in buying stuff. Retail outlets opening on Thanksgiving, but it's totally cool for me to sit back and watch a football game being played on Thanksgiving, and all those people have to work. That's okay. Or
they don't make the connection. It's not about the football. It's not about the people working. It's about who they're working for.
Yeah. I mean, air traffic controllers have to work that day.
Tons of people have to work that day.
That's cool.
And you also know that they don't give a damn about it. Oh, they need to be home with their families.
Yeah.
That's not true.
They give a shit about family all of a sudden.
Yeah, they want everybody home so they can have done their little how to fight with your family at Thanksgiving dinner primer that every year is put out by half the lefty sites.
When did that really... Obamacare really brought that to us, didn't it? I don't remember lunatics on the left trying to give me talking points about how I should talk at the Thanksgiving Day table until Pajama Boy
reared
his ugly head.
That's the timing of it, but I have to wonder if it's more to do with the clickbait internet culture.
Yeah, it could be.
Or it's like, oh, it's timely. And, you know, since we're a bunch of NPCs, we need our talking points. I did get to teach my family. We don't have those fights at dinner because we're all in agreement on everything.
Yeah.
No, but we didn't have any fights. No, but I did get to teach the senior citizens in the bunch about NPCs. They found it all quite entertaining.
It is entertaining.
Mm-hmm. I think it's my favorite meme of the year.
Is there any meme that competes with it?
No, not in my mind. No, I can't think of anything that's up there that's that funny and that useful and that made the left that upset.
Better than Pepe?
Well, there's a different era.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, Pepe served his purpose in 2016.
What about Harambe?
God, peace be upon him. Well, it's funny that you bring those up because when I was trying to explain you have to start with these older folks explaining what a meme is.
Right.
So I did say, do you remember the gorilla? That's what they hadn't heard of Pepe, but they remembered the gorilla, Harambe. And so I took them from Harambe to Pepe to the NPCs.
Oh my gosh. So you just have to wonder what happens next. Because, do you think Pelosi is going to be able to fend these lefties off and be the Speaker of the House?
Well, they held some vote today on this.
Oh, they did. I didn't see the results.
Right. Well, it's strange to me because this doesn't go to the full House until January. So I don't remember there ever being these preemptive votes like this. Maybe I'm totally wrong.
You got to figure this out, especially when it's this close.
But they actually gave them, I guess they normally do it voice vote. Mm-hmm. And they gave them ballots.
Ooh. Who's counting them? the chick from Florida? Is she counting them?
Well, she needs a new job now, right? She stepped down after all that with Snipes.
Yeah.
So they did here we go. The Hill had the coverage. I read it earlier.
By the way, we're recording this on Wednesday, November 28th. Just so you know.
House Democrats voted overwhelmingly Wednesday to nominate Representative Nancy Pelosi to the speakership in a 203 to 32 vote. So it was conducted via private ballot in the Ways and Means Committee hearing room of the Longworth House Office Building.
I'm sure it was private.
Right. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. They said normally this is voice vote.
There's some there's some mark on each vote.
They were offered paper ballots with a simple yes/no option on the question of whether she should be speaker.
All their DNA has been collected.
So we can guess at who the 32 were that voted against her. It's pretty obvious. They've got that. What are they calling themselves now? The Problem Solvers Committee.
Oh, good God. Mm-hmm. That's the answer to the Freedom Caucus?
Yes. I think that's what they're calling themselves. The Problem Solvers.
Well, the
problems that they've chosen to solve are just uproariously funny to me.
Yeah, they're real problems.
No, totally.
What's our friend's name in New York?
AOC.
Yeah, let's just call her AOC.
Thing to call her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's part of a protest regarding climate change while we were gone at soon-to-be Speaker Pelosi's office. Yes. So I'm sure she voted against Nancy Pelosi.
I would imagine so.
Look,
she's part of the Problem Solvers Caucus.
Yes, that's true.
I'm serious.
I know you're serious. And look, if there's a problem, she'll solve it.
Yes.
She's like Vanilla Ice.
I know. Check out the hook.
But this is all for show.
I'm a little bit back and forth on it.
Really?
I think that this new crop is so loony and so out there left, and they think everybody else is antiquated dinosaurs that needs to just shove off.
See, I feel like Vince McMahon is running this whole thing. Listen, we got to have a vote, okay? And we'll say it's a secret ballot, but we got to show there's some resistance. We got to make, not like we're the DNC. We're going to pretend that all the votes matter and all the votes count. And but at the end of the day, Nancy Pelosi is going to be the speaker. And if you don't like that, then we'll murder you until you die.
Yeah.
It's all for show. And then you go to the base and be like, oh, we tried. We tried. But you really don't want to go against Nancy Pelosi, do you? You sexist.
Well, if they can stick it out, because the whole House gets to vote on who's the speaker. And as Trump said, he's willing to ask all the Republicans to support Pelosi because he thinks that she's that good. But if she doesn't play nice until then, they've got enough that if those 32 stick it out, she'll go down.
Yeah.
She needs 218. So that vote was 203 to 32. So I know girls aren't good at math, but 32 plus what the Republicans have is definitely greater than 218.
Well, if maybe the Republicans should throw Evan McMullen's hat into the ring as a candidate we could all rally behind.
Oh, that would be great. No, but Fingers, I do, to go back to these new whippersnappers that are in there, the millennials. Yeah. They're thoroughly convinced that this is the future for their party. And I think they're going to get a harsh taste of reality and see that the old leadership has no interest in listening to them whatsoever. So I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like as much as possible, we should be encouraging them to just split off from the party. Just say, look, you guys aren't going to win this fight. They have too much money and too much control. You might as well just splinter. And like, I imagine myself having a conversation with AOC and saying, look, the people elected you. They didn't elect the Democrat Party. You have no allegiance to them. You should go green. Do it now. Take a couple other people with you.
Yeah, but AOC doesn't win re-election in the Green Party.
Sure she does. They love her. Don't give away the game. It was her that got elected.
But I want her to be the face of the Democratic Party. I don't want her to lose to some hack. You know, who did she beat? It was like the sixth most powerful person in the House.
Yeah.
forgot his name.
Crowley.
You know he's going to want to primary her in 2 years, but the party will probably have to stop him.
Maybe.
But if she doesn't play ball...
Yeah. I mean, she's still going to get... It's interesting to see the press kind of turn on her.
Have they?
Well, CNN's been 100% behind, like, Pelosi should be the speaker. How dare any of these people challenge her on that? She's been fantastic. Well, she's a money-raising machine.
Yeah, you got to give her credit for that.
Which is just so funny to me. Would you give that woman a dime?
No. But I've always found it amusing how we always hear from the mainstream media how the Republican Party has been taken over by the far right.
Yeah, right.
But meanwhile, this lunatic has been the face of House Democrats for decades, and she lives in. I mean that district is so far to the left.
Yes,
that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good.
They're fine with her.
Yeah.
But her politics aren't as far to the left as someone like AOC or Bernie or.
No.
No,
she looks like Ted Cruz compared to these people.
Yeah,
but in a private room though, she talks just as loony as these nut jobs, you know.
Yes. Do you think she's a little bit more pragmatic about it?
Yeah, she's realistic. She doesn't think that what she believes will play in Ohio.
No.
But people like AOC just believe that, well, everybody thinks this way because all my friends think this way.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody I live by thinks this way. So we're just not explaining it properly to the rubes.
Yeah. Just put a happy face on it.
Yeah. Like socialism.
Mm-hmm.
The right people haven't tried it yet, Tracy.
No, you're just explaining it wrong, too.
Right.
It's democratic socialism. So 51% get to vote to take away everything from everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You just put democratic in front of it.
Right. Say there's no more private property. Done.
You just throw democratic in front of it. Democratic cancer. It's not so bad.
Oh, totally benign.
See what you did there.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to be, most likely she'll be the next speaker. I would be shocked if this block of Democrats holds for, maybe they will. But what's the alternative? I mean, who have the Republicans said they're going to throw out there as, being that our buddy Paul Ryan is no longer in the House of Representatives. I wonder what sacrificial lamb will be thrown out there. Have we found out yet who's going to be the House Minority Leader?
I think it's already decided that it's Kevin McCarthy.
Okay.
Which is pathetic and shows they've learned absolutely nothing still. Because Jim Jordan did say he was willing to stand for that. Yeah. Yeah, Kevin McCarthy got elected House Minority Leader back on November the 14th.
Okay, so he'll be up
Too
for...
much fanfare, apparently, because you heard all about it.
To be fair, I don't really give a shit. So...
Right.
I mean, the whole thing, the older I get, and the more I try to pull away from this stuff, I was much more into this just a few years ago. But none of these issues ever get solved. Ever.
No. That's not the point.
No, it's to drive a wedge between the American people, the left and the right, and to raise money. Mm-hmm. I mean, this immigration problem will never be solved. Ever.
Probably not. No. Neither will the debt, the spending,
no.
Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. None of it.
But boy, you should see the fundraising letter I'm writing right now. I'll email it to you.
Oh, it's pathetic. I saw, I can't remember if it was in The Economist or Investors Business Daily or whatever, talking about the debt Because, the Federal Reserve has been quietly raising interest rates.
Yes.
So that the economy doesn't overheat. So I think they projected next year spending on just debt service will be $900 billion.
Gross.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And then you've got AOC. Oh, we can give everybody all this free stuff. It won't cost us anything.
Listen, we can just print $1 trillion bill tomorrow.
Right. It was the coin. That's what Krugman wanted. The $1 trillion coin.
$1 trillion coin?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Right. But I'm looking at that saying $900 billion. If we just cut spending and took that down quite a bit, maybe in a couple of years you could afford to once you get rid of the debt.
Yeah.
But at this rate, that's going to become completely unsustainable.
But you just kick that can right down the road, Tracy.
I guess so.
It's just amazing to me how if you even bring up the idea of a budget freeze.
Right.
Just a budget freeze. We're just going to spend the same that we did last year. And then some of these bloated departments, you go in and you cut back a little bit. Oh, we can't do that.
No. We've cut to the bone. Don't you remember the sequester monster?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, even there were several Republicans that use that rhetoric.
Mm-hmm.
Cut to the bone. It's gross.
Well, and still, every time it snows, they send all the non-essential employees home. That seems like there's some fat on that bone.
Right? Can we have a 365-degree or 365-day snow day?
Yeah.
Be nice.
Oh, we might shut it down again, because of the border wall fight.
Ugh. More theater.
It is. It's all theater. But we pay for this theater, and it's not even that entertaining anymore.
No.
No, we're subsidizing these actors' lives.
And then they cry that they can't afford it.
Right.
They can't afford the life. They need more money. AOC is griping about $174,000 salary.
Well, she hasn't gotten paid yet.
And?
She's not on I can kind of understand this. If you want citizen politicians, she is it. So she's a poor waitress or whatever the hell, bartender. I can understand. Yeah, it'd be like, why is DC so expensive? So, these wheels should start turning for you, sweetheart.
Nope.
No. You're right. But it would be like, oh, it's the lobbyists that they drive up the costs.
Yeah.
We should have rent control.
Well, the rent is too damn high.
It is. I want him to come back.
Now, that was political theater I could get behind.
Yeah.
You want to marry a shoe? I'll marry you. What was that guy's name? I shook his hand. I got a picture with him.
Are you talking about Vermin Supreme?
No,
Oh, his name is Jimmy something, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I'll Google him for you.
He walked around.
Jimmy McMillan.
Yeah, Jimmy McMillan. He walked around CPAC back in 2010. I got a picture with him wearing white gloves, shaking everybody's hand, saying the rent is too damn high. The rent is too damn high.
Yes.
Loved him. I like him more than Vermin Supreme, to be honest with you.
But you don't want everybody to get a pony?
Oh, that is tough.
Yeah.
Everyone should floss, too.
Yes. Dental hygiene is number one.
So you're right. The rent is too damn high.
Yes, that's the name of his political party, by the way.
Yes.
Which I didn't realize.
Yeah, the rent is too damn high party.
Just really send them some money. They do such good work.
Don't you remember his opening speech in the debates?
No.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to Google it.
You mean it went beyond the rent is too damn high?
Oh. Here, let's see if we could play this. Here, if you can hear. Oh, maybe a commercial. Oh, here we go. Let's see.
Are you playing something?
Oh, it's not coming through?
No.
Oh. Well, that's a bummer. Well, I feel like I teased it.
I know. Well, you just have to click a couple buttons, right?
Yeah, hold on a second. We got to play the rent is too damn high guy.
Yeah, we can't live without that. Good old Jimmy McMillan.
All right, here we go. Is this coming through?
Mr. McMillan, would you like 30 seconds more?
Allow me.
Yes.
All right. Here's Mr. McMillan. He's got 30 seconds more. He's going to introduce himself to the fine
And
folks
this
in
is
New York.
when he's running for what?
Governor.
Governor? Okay.
This is when, if you remember back, oh, dear Lord, maybe 2012.
Sure.
There were like 14 people running for governor. I think there was a hooker running for governor in New York.
I think you're right.
And so this is Jimmy McMillan.
Mr. McMillan, would you like 30 seconds more?
Allow me to introduce myself. I represent the rent is too damn high party. People are working 8 hours a day and 40 hours a week to some a third job. Women can't afford to take care of their children, feed their children breakfast, lunch, and dinner. My main job is to provide a roof over your head, food on the table, and money in your pocket. This is politics as usual. Playing a silly game. It's not going to happen. The rent too damn high movement, the people I'm here to represent can't afford to pay their rent. They're being laid off right now as I speak. They can't eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Listen, someone's stomach, child's stomach just growled. Did you hear it? Gotta listen like me.
Okay,
Let's
Mr.
talk
McMillan.
about the issue.
Mr.
People can't afford
Mr.
to pay their
Cuomo,
rent.
30
Stop.
seconds for you, sir.
Rent is too damn high.
He needs to learn how to take dramatic pauses a bit better. Did you hear that? Kid's stomach growl. You gotta do the pause, Jimmy. Did you hear that? That was a child's stomach growling. Because the rent is too damn high.
Man's an American treasure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't end up on WWE.
Right?
Yeah. He should go up against Hogan. They have the same look.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do. Same
Yeah.
hairline.
Mm-hmm.
So, good for Jimmy. How did we get on Jimmy? Oh, the rent is too damn high.
Yeah. How else do you get on Jimmy? There's only one road to Jimmy McMillan, and
Yeah.
the rent is too damn high.
But the whole I don't know how people live in DC, but somehow people who want to intern in DC can figure out a place to live for a couple of months.
Yeah. To me, that whole thing was just pay attention to me, poor me. Literally, poor me, I'm poor.
Yeah.
You know, there are tons of people that live in that city that would just be like, oh my God, you can have my room. I'll sleep on the floor.
Yeah, you have people on the left offering up kidneys
Right.
to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I think someone can offer up their Airbnb for a little bit until she gets a paycheck. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the
She's
AOC.
one of the folks. One of the folks.
That's right. Bill O'Reilly calls them the folks. Well, what else do you want to get into, Tracy?
Well, I think we both enjoyed this article on the Intelligencer. The Donald Trump is destroying my marriage.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. When I first picked this article for us to talk about, I read the headline, I read the first couple paragraphs, and it was discussing the 2016 election, and then I stopped because I thought it was going to go in one direction, and I wanted to talk about and pivot in that direction, which is I don't understand people ending friendships over politics. I don't understand people getting so passionate about politics that they want to cut family and friends out of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
But you said, "Hey, did you read this? Because it didn't actually go in the direction that the headline would make you believe it would go in." And that's, you have lefties in this piece.
The majority of the couples they talk to are lefties. And both members of the couple being lefties.
What do you think is causing this?
I think women are insane. I'm serious. This is all crazy women who are married to lefty men, and they're lefty women. And then there's some issue that ignites these lefty women to get super politicized. Like several of them were getting involved. Oh my God, I just had to get involved. I thought it was interesting. Two of them mention how many. I'm trying to jump back a second here. I think they talked to 5 different couples, maybe.
Are you talking about the Alyssa Milano effect?
Yes, exactly. That's what we should call
She's
it.
wokety woke.
Yeah. So they talked to several different couples. And I want to say more than 50% of them, the women got super woke after the 2016 election.
Uh-huh.
And I think I remember 2 of the different women. So it's all them kind of writing their little stories about what's going on in their relationships. And 2 of them mentioned the fact that they thought Hillary was just a shoo-in to win. You know, they believed all the polls, and one of them just sat back and did nothing, expecting everything to go down. The other one got involved so she could be a part of Hillary's election day by like working at her local polling place or whatever. And then Trump wins, and their worlds go to shit. This has destroyed their entire lives. And even though their husbands are on side with them politically, they don't care as much as these women would like them to. And they cannot comprehend why their husbands aren't constantly in a tizzy as well. And so this has put a strain on their marriages. And the one marriage they talked about where the woman is married to a conservative, she says she doesn't even know if he voted for Trump. And they don't even talk about it. Like, they're not a political household. He's not interested in this. And so that drives her insane. And I think my favorite couple ended up being the one. I mean, the whole article was a curveball given the title. You and I both went into it thinking, oh, God, this is going to be a bunch of women that left their right-wingy husbands.
Right.
No. But the final couple is an older couple. And I believe, yeah, this is them. Craig Lambert, 62, and Debbie Syed, 61, of San Diego, California. So Craig is the lefty.
But
and
did we ever
Debbie,
mention the title of this?
Yes. Donald Trump is ruining my marriage.
Yeah.
Destroying my
marriage. Okay. Go ahead.
Yes. So, which is why both of us went into this thinking one thing, and then we're shocked to find it's the exact other. So
right.
Craig and Debbie met on J-Date 3 years ago.
Before we get, do you know what J-Date is?
Mm-hmm.
What is J-Date?
I believe it's a site for Jewish singles.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So she's a hypnotherapist and a life coach, and he's a couples therapist. So he says, this is Craig writing. We do workshops together, but the thing that drew me to her is we had this synergy as far as lightness and humor go. And he'd been married twice before and decided to go one more time with Debbie. And he says, I'm a liberal, but it was only during the election period that I realized we were on opposite ends of the spectrum. My first response was shock. And then there were a lot of emotions, anger and sadness, and lots of judgment. This is a man writing this.
Is it?
Yes. And here's Debbie's 2 things. She says, the fact that I wasn't liberal while his whole family and friend circle is, it was like, wow, I'm not far right by any means, so it wasn't that much of a difference. But in their minds, it was. So they go through all these things. Craig, in his expert opinion, I should say, has been diagnosing Donald Trump from afar, which we all know how much credibility we're supposed to put on that.
Of course he has.
What I loved it, he said his biggest turning point for him was when Donald Trump offended John McCain.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. They love John favorite. McCain.
Mm-hmm. And he says, also as a therapist, I'm able to diagnose people using the DSM-5. And so that's the big fat manual that they have that lists all the different psychological disorders. And so he says, I am comfortable believing Donald Trump has narcissistic personality disorder. And I'd often fall back on that. So this is when he's fighting with his wife. When I was feeling very triggered, the racism card came up. I mean, this is a 60-something-year-old man talking like this.
Triggered.
Anyway, yeah. And then this is his wife. I felt Trump was passionate about accomplishing an agenda and that Hillary was coming more from her ego. Like, she just wanted to be the first female president and this historical person. If it's a choice between Trump and Hillary, it's a no-brainer for me. And that started to divide because Craig was like, I can't believe you're going to vote for that man. And once Trump won, whenever something would happen, Craig would be like, how do you feel about your decision now, Debbie? But they worked it out. They had some counseling, and it was interesting because Craig says, which I think is so funny, he's supposed to be a therapist, but Debbie introduced him to the idea of confirmation bias. Like, how are you a therapist and you're not familiar with this concept? And so he said he began to recognize his own blind spots and that he was not allowing Debbie to feel safe in her perspective.
Oh.
So, I mean, but this was interesting to me that it's possible to get through to one of these people that starts out like Craig did, all triggered and all this kind of stuff. And then Debbie says, hey, do you know about this thing called confirmation bias? So he says, when she'd start to talk, I'd cut her off and try to make my point. But as I started to practice deep listening, are you familiar with this deep listening, Fingers?
No, I'm a guy.
Right. She began to feel less judged. And actually, we began to have a deeper connection.
Ugh.
And so they ended up getting married after all of this. So I thought that was good. And then Craig started to see how disrespectful other liberal people were to Debbie. And he doesn't like this so much.
I'm sure he doesn't stand up to them, but still.
He'll
tell her that he doesn't like it.
No. But at least good on Craig for being a little bit open-minded. He's the only one that's not like, forget you.
Well, at the end of the day, he's a deep listener.
He is.
That's beautiful. And isn't that, listen, you tell me on several occasions, you try to explain girl brain to me. Mm-hmm. You all want listeners, right? That's what I'm told.
Yes. That's quite nice. But this article to me, I was just like, oh, this is girl brain to the nth degree. Where we can hold these multiple thought trains at the same time. So these crazy women just have a constant mantra in their head about Trump is destroying everything. So it's always playing in the background. Like, you know what? You can get a song stuck in your head and then still go about your day, right?
Sure, absolutely.
So
it doesn't paralyze me.
Right, but just imagine if that track was, oh my God, Trump, Hitler, Orange Man bad, the sky is falling. And it's amazing how much of fake news these women bought. 2 of them participated in Muslim ban protests. And I think the same 2 also mentioned nightly viewing of Rachel Maddow's show.
Oh, well, there you go.
Okay, well, we've put this whole thing together.
Well, listen, when you feel like you have to reclaim democracy.
Right.
That's pretty heavy stuff.
It's all on them.
Yeah. They're the resistance.
Their husbands just don't get it. They can't be bothered to get up off the couch and go protest the non-existent Muslim ban.
Oh. It's got to be exhausting to protest dog whistles.
Well, you just got to think about it. They're on like some adrenal roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
They don't have a second of calm. Every day you turn around and he's done something new outrageous.
And 98% of it is just a tweet.
Mm-hmm.
He is trolling these people and they still don't get it.
Mm-mm. Well, it's dangerous. He shouldn't be doing that.
Okay.
It's serious business. No. And then, we got narrative news. It just stokes this.
Oh, CNN, they were having orgasms, political Twitter. I think it was yesterday, because CNN was real-time fact-checking.
Oh, yes, I saw this. It's like pop-up video.
Yeah. Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's amazing how easy it is for us to change language.
Yes.
It used to be that we would call the kind of stuff that Sarah Huckabee Sanders is doing, we used to call that spin. It's not spin now, it's lies.
Yes.
And everything that comes out of her mouth is a lie.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. A lot of what comes out of her mouth is a lie. Welcome to politics.
Yes.
Are you new here? It was called spin up until 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's lies.
No, it changed in 2016. Oh, no, you're right. January 21st, 2017.
Right. Now it's all lies. Lie, 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 lie.
And still no one cares.
These are the people that will look at you with a straight face and act as though they reported on Hillary Clinton the exact same way as they do Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be really concerned about Donald Trump's struggle with the truth. And
yes.
Yet you see Hillary Clinton, the whoppers that she will tell with a straight face. And there won't even be a follow-up.
No.
And there's no real-time fact-checking. Fact-check.
No.
Fact-check. Fact-check that. Good Lord. I mean, this whole Monica Lewinsky thing came out over the weekend. There was a whopper of a story that came out where it was a blip in the news cycle because, we've moved on. It's old news where there were reports that Bill Clinton encouraged Monica to lie.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people who are listening to this may not be old enough to remember the Clinton administration. And it shocks me to, think of 2016 and how there were a lot of millennials that had to actually Google some of the things that went on during the Clinton administration.
Mm-hmm.
But when the story came up last week about how Bill tried to encourage Monica to lie, I had all these flashbacks, and it's really easy to forget just how masterful of a liar Bill Clinton was.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was so smooth, and it was spin. It was spin. Mm-hmm. Much of it was spin. I mean, at least they admit that, he did lie about a couple of things. But, even during the campaign, when he would say, oh, this is the worst economy in 50 years. So like a minor blip recession. Worst economy in 50 years. Fact check. Fact check. It's a whopper of a lie. That was the whole much of his campaign theme. Worst economy in 50 years back in 1992.
Mm-hmm.
Lie.
Yep.
Oh, that's spin. Fingers, that's spin. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't spin. Oh, no, he's a filthy liar.
Yep.
It's astonishing. And you wonder how much of this has permanently damaged the reputation of the legacy media. And I think it's permanently damaged. There's no coming back now. Because
I don't.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking about the photographs that came out over the weekend. I believe it was over the weekend when the migrant mob rushed the border.
Yeah.
And then tear gas was used to repel them. A lot
of angry women and children.
Yes. Children that have walked barefoot 5,000 miles. I don't know. I mean, you've seen the picture, right? That got shared everywhere.
Yeah.
And have you seen the larger picture where you can see other photos being set up in the background? You can see a photographer like off to one side with a bunch of men, posing them. And it was just crazy. So the more and more that stuff gets out, the worse their credibility becomes. And it's so easy now for individuals to go down that are brave enough to put themselves in those situations. Like there's several independent reporters that I follow that have been down there. And they're showing what's going on the ground. And it's just like, hey, this is way different than what they're telling you on TV.
Yeah.
So slowly but surely it'll sink into everybody's heads. And I think one of the other gateways into that is when you know something about a subject and then you read people writing about it and you realize how full of shit they are.
Right.
Kind of turns on a little light bulb. And I wanted to point out one of our dear listeners, Miss Grumpy Seamstress, had asked us to comment. I don't know if you saw this on the story about the scientists are proposing to fill the skies with sulfur to help us survive global warming.
So they're Satan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they want to use sulfates. So, and this is so funny. So there was some new climate assessment that came out, and the left is wetting their pants about it, of course. And that's what they were fact checking. That's what I saw them fact checking Sarah on, was saying that the report's BS. Like, Trump doesn't believe it. And they're just like, oh my God, how could you not believe this? Like, the world is ending. It's ending tomorrow. And it's like, we've heard you guys cry wolf on this since, the 90s?
Yeah.
And then Al Gore, stoked it up after he didn't get a job in Washington. He needed to go make some money somewhere else. The man needs multiple beach houses, as they all do. But so on the heels of this, they're now starting to bang the drums again for this, putting sulfur into the atmosphere, or different kind of things. She's shooting stuff into the atmosphere to dampen the sun's rays that actually hit the earth. And I have to laugh because it's like, here's CNN's covering this. Dimming the sun? Is that the answer to global warming? Seriously. So scientists are proposing an ingenious, but yet unproven way to tackle climate change, spraying sun dimming chemicals into the Earth's atmosphere. So if that sentence leads you to believe this is something brand new, right? This idea.
Yeah.
Well, they've been talking about this for as long as I can remember. And I went and pulled articles from 5-10 years ago about this idea. I mean, it's pretty elementary when you think about what happens when there's a volcanic eruption, which is basically what they're trying to simulate.
Yeah.
Okay.
InfoWars will have a field day with this if they ever start doing it.
Of course. They're just going to start shooting sulfur off into the atmosphere. We have no idea what it'll do, but we think it will save us money and lives in the long run, right? So they say in this, they think it'll cost about $3.5 billion.
That's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah. Well, we don't know if it'll work or not. And to my mind, like, the simple thing, like, let's just get a big umbrella.
Right?
And that's actually, somebody proposed that, and they made more sense. It's not an umbrella that just, covers the earth, but putting something up in the atmosphere that would get sucked into the gravitation of the sun that would just kind of, or I think it was an Earth's gravitation, excuse me. So they could just kind of plant it somewhere, and then they can keep it kind of in place, and it would block out 2% of the sun's light coming to the earth. And that's enough to stave off this whole disaster. Like, if you guys want to be dummies about this whole thing, I'd much rather have something floating out in space than to just have you guys pumping weird
shooting shit in the air.
Whatever you want. Let's just shoot it up in the air. That'll do it.
We should.
There's no way to prove it.
Can we shoot fluoride in the air too while we're at it?
Why not? Well, I'm surprised they're not suggesting that we make volcanoes erupt.
Yeah. Really?
Why not just do that? If Yellowstone goes,
we won't have much to worry about.
Right. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
The Earth will be plunged into an ice age. No, it's just so funny to me that they think the answer to this is fooling around more with the atmosphere.
And CNN is all over this, huh?
Oh, yeah. They think it's to read the sentence that I read for you, it's an ingenious.
Well, yeah, I know we aren't supposed to bring up Breitbart.com as a source, but John Nolte wrote a piece at the end of October. The October ratings were in, and CNN got wiped out again. If you look at the numbers, Fox News primetime viewers combined average 2.89 or 2.8 million. MSNBC 1.5 million. CNN 931,000.
Oof.
During primetime, CNN lost to HGTV, USA, and the Hallmark Channel. CNN was only able to attract an average of 689,000 total day viewers.
Wow. That's insane. I bet you more people just have their TVs on the Weather Channel all day.
Yeah.
You've been to Florida, right? And been
Yes.
around old people?
Yeah.
Like, that's normally what's on.
You know what my dad watches? OWN.
Oh.
One America News.
Yes. Does he like it?
Yes, he loves it. Loves it. And I actually enjoy it, too, because during the day, have you ever watched One America News?
I don't believe that I get it. I'll have to look for it because I know Our buddy Jack Posobiec is on that network.
Well, it's not the primetime lineup, but during the day, it's a news wheel, which is nice. It's just story after story, and a lot of it's international news. Look, it comes from a right-wing perspective. There's no doubt about that. But it's not, you know what? Trump tweeted something. Let's get 25 people on a panel to discuss it over the next minute and a half.
Right.
And everybody will be shouting all over each other. And there will be one person who will be defending Trump, and it'll be 24 against 1. And won't that be fantastic?
Yes, everybody will get 10 seconds of airtime.
And then that leads to these talking heads saying outrageous things because they're attention whores. Mm-hmm. Oh, what can I say? I'll say booger on the air. Oh, boy. That's a little...
Oh, God. You're not that far off.
Yeah. WKRP in Cincinnati joke for you kids out there that were under the age of 50. But
thank you. I didn't know what that was coming from.
Oh, yeah. Ask Jeeves, WKRP in Cincinnati, and booger. Anyway, but no, when you have this is what cable news is, and I don't know about you. You are much more into cable news than I am because I know you're a fan of people like Kennedy.
I haven't watched cable news in a long time.
Oh, you haven't? You even dropped Kennedy?
Oh yeah, I probably haven't watched that in a year and a half.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Because there were times you were telling me you have to tape Kennedy. You have to tape Kennedy.
Yeah. And
I try and
it was entertaining through the election season.
Yeah.
And then once Trump took office, it kind of got boring because it's the same stuff over and over and over again.
Right.
We just recycle the outrage.
Well, speaking of outrage, and we're almost out of time. That's an outrage. But we didn't talk, for the last month, that whole Tucker Carlson thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this kind of goes hand in hand with your, with the piece we were just talking about, where the left is so out of whack that liberal women are leaving their liberal husbands because they aren't whacked out enough about Trump.
Right.
Where it's leading these leftists to actually show up at talking heads' homes. You had people, Tucker Carlson claims they were trying to knock down his door. Kat Timpf was chased out of a bar because she works for Fox News.
Uh-huh. Well, my first reaction to the Tucker stuff, because I saw it happening on Facebook, people were posting about it live when it was going down. Mm-hmm. I'm like, these people are so stupid that they don't realize that they're knocking on his door while he's on live television. They hate him so much they don't even know when his show is on. I mean, honestly, if you're going to go confront somebody, don't you want them to be home?
You'd think.
It's not that hard to be like, oh, we hate him because of what he says on his television show. Oh, yeah, really? What time's his TV show on? Man. We know he's on Fox, though.
Or do you think they're so cowardly that they want to show up when he's not there?
That could be. I mean, they're pretty brazen, though. Just go to somebody's house. But I mean, it just shows you how the whole thing to target him of anybody is so absurd to me. He's so benign.
Yeah.
Like I had just watched, he did they called it a debate. It hardly was, with my favorite Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks.
Yes.
Every year at Politicon, he's involved in a debate. And so different righties have gone up against him over the years. And they've been pretty entertaining. Because he gets completely out of control. The Cenk I'm talking about gets out of control. But this year with Tucker, it was really calm. They were both seated. They weren't at podiums. So that kind of sets a different tone, I guess. But they ended up agreeing on so much.
Really?
And Cenk was just like blown away. Yeah. Because they were talking about corporations having too much power and these kind of things and how dangerous that is. And then Cenk gets into his, Tucker, you'll support my get money out of politics thing. It's just like... and Tucker said, yeah, I might. I mean, he's a little bit left on those kind of things. He's like, I'd like to take a look at it. Whereas we've talked about this, it's completely impractical. As long as the government's involved in making regulations and setting tax policy, there's always going to want to be people that need and want favors. And they'll figure out a way to get to politicians' money. So you think that you're solving a problem, but you're not. You're just moving it to a different source. But anyway, so they seemed to get along quite fine. So when that happened, after I looked at, the live streams of the people on his lawn, for the next day and a half, I checked Mr. Cenk Uyghur's Twitter feed thinking, oh, I'll definitely see something about him telling his resistors, because he's hashtag resist everything, to leave Tucker alone, that he's a nice man. No.
Oh, of course. You can't do that. Then they'll show up at his house.
Maybe. Maybe. But can you imagine if people showed up at his house? He'd be out on the lawn screaming in their faces. The man has no self-control.
Well, I mean, who was it on the left that actually had the gall to say something nice about Ben Shapiro on Twitter and then had to go and apologize?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can't go out there and say, listen, you lunatics, you're my lunatics, so no disrespect, but you can't show up at someone's house like that. It could lead to bad things. Oh, they'd go ape shit.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
No, he's a Nazi.
And you're a Nazi sympathizer.
Clearly.
You should have been leading the charge.
Yes. You don't understand. And this is some of the stuff that I saw, because I think it was Matt Iglesias, who I believe is at Vox now.
Yeah.
Saying that, you seem to be okay with these people going to Tucker's house. And then he had the nerve to say something like, well, he's caused so much harm to so many people. I mean, this is the crazy shit we've seen coming out of universities for years. And now it's just totally mainstream that words can hurt me. Yeah.
If you're keeping score at home, ladies and gentlemen, words are violent, but throwing rocks at the border is not violent.
No. No, that's justified. These are just poor women and their children.
That's right.
They're just seeking asylum. They're fleeing violence.
Wow.
In their home country.
All right. Well, we're an hour and 7 minutes in, Tracy.
I know. We owed it to the folks, to go overtime.
That's right. But you have a hard deadline here. You have to go to the gym or something?
Yes. That's what I do.
Look at you.
Well, and I have to hit it at certain times, or there's going to be annoying people in there.
Well, nobody needs that. So you can find the Enough Already podcast over at, let's see, let's run down the list. SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, and BitChute.
Yes.
And we have to talk off the air sometime soon. We need to start incorporating some video.
Yes, we do.
Not because people need to see my old melon, but apparently people dig videos.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to figure that out. So we'll try to maybe start incorporating some real videos, not just a slide of us talking on YouTube or BitChute, but video podcasts.
We'll work on that for 2019.
Yeah, that's the thing of the future.
So I'm told.
All right, she's Tracy. I'm Fingers. We'll be back soon with another Enough Already.